I forgot how warm LA can be in the winter. So after a rainstorm this morning, I was wet and also sweaty. Perfect.
Lucky you. I like a jaunty Christmas tune as much as the next guy, but when Frosty the Snowman is stuck in your head all day, it'll drive you to drink.
Heather, you probably don't want to know how often I sing that song to my dog. All year round, in fact. And yes, I will die alone.
I'll have a boozy eggnog, hold the nog, ho ho ho, and Merry Xmas.
Indeed. Have such a good day. Hello, world. Welcome to Have Such a Good Day.
The show that wants you to do just that. Sarah Lane.
Heather Frank. What up, girlfriend?
You've moved to a new city. It's so exciting.
Can you believe it? I can't
believe it.
You know, it's funny.
It's been a long haul.
I feel like I'm, Heather and I talk about this all the time, just a series of catch-ups that we do. Not ketchup, the condiment, but just catching up with life. I actually had moved by the time y'all heard our last episode, so we're still playing a little bit of catch up. But yes, I am in my new place. I'm in an office that is...
New background.
Yeah, the background that nobody sees. But if it sounds a little hollow in here, it's because I don't have much in my office yet. I've got this kind of cool wall of shelves, built-in shelves, came with the house. But otherwise, I'm in a mostly empty room. I gotta fill it in so it feels cozier. But
oh, this is the fun part, though.
I know. Oh my gosh.
I'm a little envious because it's like I love that new feeling. You start
where you're
over,
like, what goes on this wall? Is it this piece of art or this piece of art, or maybe nothing and just like a really big plant?
The world is your oyster, Sarah. And y'all, if you're tuning in for the first time, this is the show that unpacks the absurdity, the craziness of everyday
absurd.
life.
Let's just call it like it is, right?
We like to say that the show is a little bit like kind of listening in on a real intimate conversation between two gals.
Yeah. Emphasis on intimate.
How is everybody doing today?
Yeah. Oh, hi. We didn't see y'all here. It was just Heather and I being very intimate.
Precisely.
Oh boy. Well, yeah. So, oh gosh, it's been a journey, Heather. So you were the last one to move out of LA, although you moved not that long after I did. But again, you know, you moved up north, so your trip was actually farther than mine was. I moved into Northern California from Southern California as well, but you have a few hours on me. But so yes, last week, I will not bore everybody with the minutia of my entire trip, but I was staying with my mom for some time, and what ended up having to happen, because I had sort of set up a temp office in her garage. But there was a fair amount of my stuff in there, and a few things in the house itself, you know, in the guest bedroom. So the movers had to come to her house first, get the stuff that I had there, put it on the truck. Then we all went over to my storage unit where the majority of my things are, pack that all up. And then they sort of said, okay, bye, we'll see you never, because somebody else was driving that truck down to LA. And I also had to go because I had to meet the new crew, the LA crew, the next morning in LA. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't just be like, I'm tired, I don't want to drive today. Like, I had to, you know, unless I called the moving company and switched everything around and screwed everybody up. So I was like, all right, we're doing it. I got on the road at about 1 p.m. So I had a few hours of light, but not that many. The majority of my trip was in the dark, and I was a little concerned about that because I'm not a great night driver. I mean, I can do it, I can see, but I just feel like, I don't know, I get tunnel vision. I hate driving at night when it's something like a, you know, somewhat deserted freeway with a bunch of, you know, semi trucks. Mm-hmm. So, and I had my dog and my cat with me, because how else are they going to get down to LA? And I thought, well, okay, Otis the dog has done this trip with me a handful of times. He's a really good traveler. He pretty much just sleeps.
How was Ralphie?
Ralphie was good. So I have learned the hard way that Ralphie is a bad traveler when in a cat carrier. Most people say, well, how else would you transport a cat? Well, some cats just flip out in carriers. Ralphie is one of those cats. He'll pee on himself. It's a mess. And, and screaming, it's like you almost just can't do it and keep your sanity. Yeah. But he has a little kitty harness that he likes. And I have the carrier, like, in case of emergency, like if we had to, like, get out of the car and run. I mean, he's not just going to be, like, open to the elements, but he has a little harness and a little kitty saucer. I put it in the passenger seat next to me. And when I do that, he's great. He just sits there, looks out the window, looks at me occasionally, and is like, meh.
That's amazing. Oh my God. He didn't even try to move around?
That's all he needs. He would kind of, well, so the litter box, another thing that you just have to do with a cat on a 7+ hour trip, litter box was where somebody's feet would be had they been sitting in the passenger seat. So he used the litter box. I showed him where it was. He was like, I got it. And then he, kind of just napped most of the time. And occasionally he'd jump into the back seat with Otis, sniff around a little bit, scream, because he's really good at screaming, and then go back to his saucer and just be like, okay, we're good.
That is so cute.
It's really cute. It was, honestly, it was long. It was, I mean, you can't make that trip any shorter than it is.
It's like 10, or wait, it's like how many hours?
Oh, it's
like
not 10.
9,
no, it's about 7.
8.
It's 7 if you're booking. Maybe even a little
it's
less.
like 11 from here.
Yeah. Well, again, yeah, you've got the longer drive. But it was fine. It was fine. I was really bracing myself for, like, this might be the suckiest Friday I ever had.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't that bad. By the time I descended into LA, because again, Heather and I were talking about it, I think in last week's show, The Grapevine, which is this sort of, once you get to greater LA, you kind of go up into this, the LA mountains, I think, the Angeles mountain range. And then you kind of go, you go up to the summit, and then you sort of slowly go down the hill, and it starts to become like there's lights and houses and
I think
civilization
it's the San Gabriel
and
Mountains, isn't it?
What's that?
San Gabriel Mountains?
I think it's the Angeles National Forest.
Okay. I don't know.
But the San Gabriel Mountains are around there somewhere. I don't either.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm like, I lived there for 10 years. I can't distinguish the mountain ranges.
So it was a trip without incident. The next morning, movers came. They came on time, met him at the house, moved all my stuff in, tipped him heavily, said bye-bye, and here I am.
Wonderful. I cannot wait to check it out. I think it will be sooner than later as I try to come down to LA as often as possible. So I'm really excited to check it out. Hopefully, probably not till February, but I don't know, maybe January. I might need to actually come down to see a movie that I don't know if it's going to come up here. And I'm like, this is just the pits living in the country because I don't get the releases, that you would get in a city like Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah.
So I might have to do a little.
Well, that's a commitment to cinema, Heather.
Month. Oh,
Got to come to LA. Got to see this flick.
Yes, it is. Yeah. I'm very committed.
Well, it's a good excuse. And I know that you have friends here and places to stay when you do come, but my new apartment is rather large. I mean, compared to what I'm used to. I went from a studio, y'all, and it was a cool studio. It was the Treehouse. I talked about it extensively.
I'll curl up next to your bookshelf.
R.I.P. Treehouse. I will miss it in a weird way, but I've got a lot more room here. And, it's funny. A friend of mine called me. I was coming back from Best Buy because, of course, I have like 40 XLR cables, but I couldn't find a second HDMI cable. And I was just like, I could order on Amazon. You know what? Let's just get in the car and it's an excuse to sort of go do something. Anyway, so I'm coming back. A friend of mine who lives back in Sonoma County, childhood friend, where I just moved from, she calls me and I realize, oh shit, I didn't tell her that I moved.
Oh my God.
I just forgot. She and I don't talk every day, so it's not weird that we hadn't talked in about a week, but I'm like, that was on the list.
But this is the one that you had like beers with, like here and there.
beers with here and there.
Like you would go over to her house and have some Coronas and kick
I don't
it.
even like
Is that the
Corona.
same?
She likes Corona. Yeah, I think we're talking about the same
Okay, it was
person.
the same. I think so too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I just forgot.
She must have been shocked.
No, well, it was funny because I'm in my car, right? And, it's raining really hard yesterday. So I'm sort of like, it's a little precarious. It'll flood real quick. I mean, not like a full flood, but, where your car is
floods,
going through
yeah.
some pretty major puddles.
Doesn't have great drainage.
Yeah, exactly. So I answer and I'm like, hi, I have really big news. And she's like, what? I'm like, I live in LA. And she's like, what? And I was
wow.
like, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
It happened really
Where she's
quickly.
like, well, you're going to come back up for Christmas, right? And I'm like, no, I will not be doing that. I just got here. Sorry. Anyway, it's all good. But just to give everybody a sense of like how quickly this all just sort of happened. It was sort of an idea and then it became a reality. And then now I live here. And
I know, it's wild.
my neighborhood, people keep saying, well, what neighborhood are you in? What neighborhood are you in? And for anybody who's not familiar with LA, I mean, LA is huge sprawl. So there's all sorts of little enclaves. I am, if you look at it on a map, pretty smack dab in the middle. Mid-city is what it's called. Some people call it Midtown, which is adjacent to kind of a lot of stuff. But this particular neighborhood, I have driven through, but I've never really hung out in. So I do feel like I'm in a new city. Even though the greater city I'm really familiar with, this neighborhood I need to get to know. I think that you would call it, a realtor would call it up and coming, which means, okay, it's not super, super shiny, super fancy 100% of the time. I have no problem with that. I think depending on the person and your level of comfort, you might say, certain blocks a little sketchy. And it got me thinking, Heather, like, what is a sketchy neighborhood? You know what I mean? Like, if you feel like you're unsafe walking around after dark, okay, maybe you call that sketchy. I have not felt that way. My neighborhood it's very family oriented, but you also have, graffiti on walls and some you've got some blocks where you kind of go like this block could use a little love,
Like those downtrodden strip malls that LA
very
has,
much so,
a
yeah.
lot of
And then
those.
you kind of walk down another block and you go, whoa, this is real nice. Gosh, how'd that happen? Lots of cities are that way, especially when everybody's on top of each other. I mean, San Francisco, great example of that. One block would be like, not the best. Next block is like crazy mansions. So same thing, but yeah, I think I would not name them, but I have friends who would be like, yeah, I don't know about this. I don't care about it. I actually find it to be, I don't know, more alive than something that is a little too Lululemon. You get my drift?
Oh, I get your drift.
You get my
I
drift.
can't do the Lululemon at all. I think it's because those places tend to be so far on one side of the spectrum. I like variety, and I feel like I'd probably hit the east side. The problem with LA though is that there's always, you can choose a lot of different enclaves. There's a lot of great enclaves. But if you choose something on the east side, you're looking at way hotter weather and you're looking at being pretty deep. So if you ever wanted to go to the west side, you're really far.
Oh yeah, it's
So,
like an
you're in a
hour
great
without
spot.
traffic to go to the ocean.
Yeah.
People
totally.
go, oh, I thought, it was all just like Baywatch. It's like, no, LA goes real far east.
Yeah, totally. So you're near West Adams, you're near Koreatown, you're near Hancock Park.
Very.
Ish?
Yeah.
I like Hancock Park a lot.
Yeah,
That's like
Culver
with the
City
really
is
nice,
just kind of to the west of me. I'm near everything. To the point where when I went to Best Buy yesterday, because I just felt like looking at TVs, I had to get my HDMI cable, but sometimes I just like to look at televisions. The Best Buy, I was just asked Siri in my car, like, take me to Best Buy, and there were a few. And all of the Best Buys were like not right around the corner. It wasn't walkable, but like there were several of them that were a 10-minute drive. And in LA, especially during rush hour, which it was, because I'm a masochist, not bad. Not bad.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm so excited for you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Totally deserve all this joy and excitement. And I can't wait to see it and walk around with Oat and check out your neighborhood and
me too.
go to the local cafe, get a pour over. I'm pumped. I'm pumped to see you soon down there. Speaking of joyous times, we are in the joyous part of the year. We're getting dangerously close to the end of 2023. I want to say, just for the record, that 2023 has been a pretty epic year on my end. I'm really grateful for all these adventures I went on. I did travel a lot. It was unexpected. It was not planned. It wasn't like, oh, 2023, I'm going to go here and I'm going to go there. It just happened. I had the time. It just worked out. This year has just it's been wonderful. All the accomplishments too. It's been a tough year in terms of my business and this, new education. It's never enough for me. I'm my own worst critic because I'm an accomplished person. I am an ambitious person, but I never seem to do enough for my own personal. It's more about like, me striving for myself. I'm not like worried about what other people think. But I don't know. It's kind of funny. It's been such an interesting month because I've been running around with my head cut off a little bit. I've got a lot of deadlines. It's a bit of a stressful month for me. I forget that December is stressful because you have to tie up a lot of things end of year, especially when you run a big business. You've got your CPA kind of on your ass because when you run a business of this like capacity, they want to get started early on your taxes. So they bring it up before Christmas and they give you deadlines before Christmas. It's kind of the pits. So it's that time of year that's supposed to be cheery and cozy and merry and happy and joy, and insert throw pillow slogan here. But let's be real, stress and anxiety and anticipation of the new year is also a thing. And I've been feeling that kind of heavily. I think it doesn't really help that like it's winter and, dark, and actually it's kind of sunny the last couple of days. I think we had the storm up here that you have now, I think. And it was, raining and dark for a few days, but it's actually been really beautiful weather and not that cold. But there's a lot of expectations at this time of year kind of thrust on you. It's kind of like it's all like on steroids in December, I feel like, because again, just like this weird pressure to finish everything and be fucking merry. Being a kid, and I think maybe having kids helps. Maybe it hurts. I don't know. I feel like Christmas was so storybook for me as a child. I was very lucky. I don't think it's like that for everybody. I don't have kids now, so maybe it would have been, maybe having kids makes it feel a little bit more joyous. I don't know. But I think it's this adulthood thing. It can be a little bit of a letdown because Christmas personifies this kind of realization that you're an adult now. And adulting can be challenging, i.e. the CPA on my ass. So yeah, end of the year deadlines. Who does that? Yeah, my CPA, apparently. But I obviously am good at sneaking in fun and festive, which I totally have been doing. It's not all like deadlines, but it's definitely never all work and no play for me. That is definitely something that I make sure of. But it's been a strange combo of like, let's be festive, and also shit, this year is over. I got to do all this last minute shopping, and I'm not joking. And I was kind of chatting with you a little bit here and there this week, but we haven't chatted as much as we usually do because it has been kind of ridiculous, where I realize kind of at the last minute that, wow, we have like quadruple the amount of contractors this year because of all the projects and all the work. And normally I would have like 5 like regulars that I would just send a nice Christmas bonus to, Mm-hmm. And so it becomes like 12 to 15 people that, I mean, that's a lot of Christmas bonuses. And it was, it was a big year of expenses. It's been, everything's gone up.
Right.
Lots of renovations, lots of stuff that we had to fix. We had no choice. It was an aesthetic renovations. This is like, fixing the roof because it's leaking, or leveling the floor because, the foundation is slipping a little bit. I mean, it's like legit work that has to get done. It's not cheap. So I kind of ran around yesterday, went to Target. I was like, okay, do not get distracted. Like you and your TV at the Best Buy, you're in there for an HDMI cable. I went there for 2 items. I thought it'd be easy breezy. Roll in there. I need a bag of bows, the sticky bows you put on bottles of champagne that you're giving to your employees.
I thought you meant like Bose noise canceling headphones.
Oh, like Bose headphones. Yeah, no. Bose. Just a basic bag of Bose, y'all.
For Christmas goodies. Got it.
Yeah. So I bought all those like champagne, like nice champagne, nice tequila, depending on what my workers liked, and wanted a bunch of bows, and I was going to put stickers and get a little, like those little gift cards, that you attach and like you write a little something, something, but there's no pressure to write like a novel.
Yeah.
Couldn't find either, literally. Like, I'm just like, and it's manic there. It's like, everybody is like, shop until they're dropping. There's like Christmas sweater craziness. Like, I got like distracted, actually. I was like, God, these are kind of cute Christmas sweaters. I didn't get anything or try anything on. I was like, oh my God, focus.
Target is one of those stores you're like, I need one item, and then you fall. And then you're just
crazy.
like in the well of Target, and you end up with like 50 things. And you're like, what just happened to me?
And I purposely went there and gave myself like a 20-minute window because I had a meeting I had to get to. So I was like, I didn't have a lot of time. So I was like in the card section. I'm just like, where? They have everything. I mean, oh my God, they have every kind of party hat, bow, but no bag of bows. I had to get like individual expensive large bows, like you buy them per $2 for each bow. It's like,
I could just see you there, Heather, being like, okay, 15 of these, thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks
I did that. I'm not joking. I spent like $25 on bows. I'm like really under the gun here, and so I did get distracted by those sweaters because I was like, God, Target, cute, like sequence, jumpsuits, cute stuff for New Year's. I was kind of impressed. But then I got distracted in the games section. I really want to get a backgammon game. I thought it would be fun to maybe relearn it over this holiday because I used to play with my dad. Just FYI, Target only sells backgammon online. If you're looking for it in the store, they don't have it. But in all seriousness, I am actually trying to keep the holiday kind of low key-ish. I overdid my birthday. I've got friends coming up next week for like 5 days for the New Year's, and they want to party. So I'm like, okay, I gotta relax at some point. So this weekend for me is trying to hit some of my deadlines. So I am going to be working, and Elijah's working also. He's on crazy end of the year deadlines for his film stuff. So I'm going to be probably, the biggest thing I'll be doing is making homemade waffles, and drinking boozy eggnog. And I'm probably going to read a book. And I'm probably going to walk on the beach and just watch movies and just, I don't know.
I want this for you.
I'm excited.
Yeah. It's like you live in those of you in our Discord have seen some beautiful photos. I mean, Heather lives in one of the most beautiful places on earth.
It's kind of true.
And, I every time you are just sort of like, I'm buried in work, I can't get ahead. Oh my gosh, there's no bows at Targets. Like I know like how those days go where you're just like, I'm not really having fun at all.
Yeah.
And just to be able to kind of stop and smell the roses, so to speak.
Yeah.
And just be like, look at this. Look at this beautiful place.
And I so relish it. And I will say also that there was much more going on than not finding bows at Target, y'all. Much deeper stuff that has to do with like taxes, finances, real estate stuff, like just like really big, hard decisions and way more pressure than you can imagine. It's hard to really unpack it all. All is good. I'm still a lucky person. But I will say that, yes, I do indeed live, honestly, and I'm not bragging, but it is kind of true. I live in a feat of nature up here. It's very,
that's not
it's a
braggy.
very,
It's just
very,
reality.
very,
It's
It's
great.
a very beautiful place.
Yes.
On the edge of the earth. However, I struggle. I really do. And I feel a little guilty because I bitch about it. But it's hard. It's like I'm really far. And I like the other day, for example, you might appreciate this, Sarah. Although you weren't as deep as I have been. Like, I lost my mascara and I didn't really want to get a CVS mascara. And there's not a lot of places to go buy like a non-CVS mascara up here. You have to like order.
Yeah, like you don't have a
it
Sephora
online.
down at the end of the block.
No.
Yeah.
No. And so it's stuff like that. It's not even just that, but even like with Christmas gifts and just like things that I'm trying to accomplish, I just feel so remote and I really struggle with it.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't like it. I don't. And I feel hidden and far and just I this is not really what I chose for myself.
Right, right.
I'm a kind of a city girl with some country tendencies. I like, there's aspects that I really do like. I do. But man, I miss my city life. And like you also going back there, it's like when good friends move, like there was comfort having other friends in the country, where you're like, we're in it together,
I totally get it.
It's a bit of a struggle.
I get it. I felt the same way when I was in my tree house. Heather and I weren't near each other, but yeah, we definitely commiserated. We also had, sort of parallel lives in a way.
Yeah,
doing property management and just sort of like, how's the country for you? Because the country is the country for me.
We would sort of joke about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and
take the piss out of it,
I get it. There are pros and cons for sure. If you want to get away from it all, boy, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better place. But not everybody wants that all the time.
I want it part-time, and I'm working on it. I'm working on, hopefully 2024 will be fruitful in this way, but I've had a vision, and I hope to have a little something somewhere else so that I can get away and not feel like I'm infringing on, I would like to have my own little spot somewhere.
Yeah.
Albeit small shack, condo rental. I don't know. We will see, but I will be listening to some Christmas hip hop for the next few days to get in the spirit.
Love it.
And I hope y'all got some fun plans. I can't wait to hear what y'all are up to on the Discord, and email us at hi@havesuchagoodday.com and let us know what the heck you're doing this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Some of you celebrate Christmas, some of you don't. Everybody, besides people saying like, oh, are you going to be back up at your mom's house for Christmas? I'm like, no, I just got to LA. I'm just not getting in the car and doing that opposite drive just yet. But what I am doing is I've got some family who lives in LA. So Christmas Eve, I'm not a huge Christmas person. I'm not a not Christmas person, but like people are like, oh, you have a larger apartment. Are you going to get a tree? I'm like, no, why would I do that? It's just like one extra thing I don't need to do. So I'm not doing it. Then again, I just moved in, but I like Christmas. My family, for the most part, celebrated Christmas, when I was a kid. Kind of depending on what relatives you're talking about. But I've got some family over on the west side that's doing a little Christmas Eve thing, so I'm gonna see them.
Cool, that's awesome.
Yeah, another part of my life where my cousin was like, "What up?" and I'm like, "Oh, I'm your neighbor now. I live in LA." And she's like,
"Was she pumped?"
Yeah, but she's like, "Really? What? Why didn't you tell me?" I'm like, "I don't know. It just like all happened so fast. I'm here now though." And in fact, I have two cousins who live in LA. And then, smattering of friends, Christmas Day, another set of friends, they have their family in town. So I was sort of like, can I just sort of swing by? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that I can commit to like 6 p.m. ham dinner. But like, could I just kind of swing by on Christmas if I'm in the mood? Because I might
Have a
just
boozy
kind of want to
eggnog.
like take a long walk and
Yeah.
not do anything.
Yeah, no, we're kind of the same. I mean, I think that Christmas meant more to me when I was younger, but you're kind of like Elijah. Like Elijah is not, he doesn't really care that much about Christmas. Other holidays maybe, yeah. I mean, I think New Year's to me is a little more exciting because it's celebrating getting off on the right foot for like a new year.
Sure.
But Christmas
Yeah.
is a little like, I don't know, it's a little confusing, I feel like.
Yeah, my friend, who you know as well, Trish, Heather, she always says like New Year's is my birthday. Like I have a
Cute.
birthday and it's like in the summer, but New Year's feels like my birthday. Like, okay,
Totally.
you're making some resolutions. You're
You're gonna wear
looking
something
back on the last
sparkly.
year. You've got,
Yeah.
some goals for the new one. It feels more like what a birthday should be more like. I
Yeah.
don't really know where I fall. I do love I love the ritual of people getting together and Christmas twinkling lights and
Yeah, me
all
too.
that stuff. Well, you mentioned strip malls earlier in the show, Heather. And just real quick, I will say because I don't know, how do I even explain my neighborhood? I'm in a neighborhood that's very grid. So it's flat and it's like, you walk one way, you turn left, you make another left, you're back where you started type thing. So which is actually kind of nice. Some of LA is like very windy and hilly and that's actually more charming to me. But it's also kind of nice when, for example, Otis and I go out for a walk in the morning and I'm like, all right, let's just walk a mile. And I can do the mile like a variety of different ways. But it's like, I'm not going to get lost or anything. It's all a big grid. So part of that grid, and again, I've only lived here for a few days, but is me just being like, okay, where's my nearest corner store? Where's the nearest coffee shop that is not a Starbucks? Not that I have any problem with Starbucks, but I prefer a different kind of coffee shop. I've found one, by the way. It's amazing. Like where's the nearest like gym if I want to join a gym? Where's the nearest gas station? Where's the nearest CVS? When I need mascara, like, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then where is the nearest like shopping center that would be a short drive? These are all like just little things I'm like slowly ticking off, like my Best Buy adventure yesterday type thing. And when you live in, especially sort of the area of LA that I live in, which is I'm surrounded by lots of other LA neighborhoods, I'm not on the edge of anything. I'm in the middle. You get a lot of strip malls. Oh, do you ever, Heather? And strip malls, for anybody who's like, well, what is like constitutes a strip mall? I don't really know if it's the same universally, but it's like, you get like 5 to 6 small little shops that are often on a corner with
think it's like a
with some
one-story
parking,
kind of vibe,
but
too.
limited. Like maybe there's a 7-Eleven, maybe there's a nail salon, maybe there's an insurance shop, maybe there's a ramen place. Like it's sort of, if you can lean into
forget
the strip
donuts.
mall life, LA is great. Because nothing is ever very far away. Like everything's around.
Everything. You could, any kind of service, anything you can imagine, like the wackiest stuff you'll find.
Oh yeah.
In your neighborhood, like not very far away.
Exactly.
That's what I love about city living.
Same. Yeah. And I mean, some of it you kind of like go like, that strip mall has nothing for me.
Yeah, they're ugly. They're pretty ugly.
Right. Yeah. Like I don't need the barber shop or the smoke shop or the, massage place that's a little
They all desperately need like a power washing too. It's like, I just want to like power wash this
I know, but
wall.
there's like something about the chaos that I love to
kinda
lean
like it.
into it. For example, I mentioned the coffee place that I found, which is right next to a Starbucks, ironically. But the Starbucks is like, it's so funny. It's like, this is not a beautiful walk down Venice Boulevard, okay? But it's not far. it's a good, just under a mile there and, back. So I'm like, okay, this is a good walk with my dog. Other people are out with their dogs or their kids or, going wherever. The Starbucks is like one of these Starbuckses that has a drive-through, but it also has like just like ordering windows. So like you can go into the Starbucks. You can drive through the drive-through, but you also have like the pickup windows, which I assume is probably a Starbucks app thing, where you order and then you just like walk up, get your thing and go. And when I walked by it the first time, I'm like, well, this is quite lively. I mean, nothing wrong with a Starbucks. Good to have it. Good to know. It's in my back pocket. But just on the other side of like this perpendicular kind of crossing is this like really cool independent coffee place that like roast their own beans on site. And I'm like, oh, okay, see, we're good.
Yeah,
this is my spot, and lots of like, I don't know, just sort of artist types in there,
totally.
at 7:30 in the morning where I'm like, I found my people. There's also in a larger strip mall, there is, and I'm actually not even really looking to join a gym, even though I had been going to the gym quite a bit when I was at my mom's, mostly to have something to do. I feel like I can just sort of make exercise stuff in my house. Like I kind of have the room. I certainly have plenty of room to like throw down a yoga mat and get to work.
Also, like the canyons are great. Like Runyon,
exactly.
And get a really good workout.
However, on the way to my new coffee joint, you will pass a very large gym. And last night, because it's been raining, and so, in between rainstorms, I'll take Otis out, where I'm like, okay, let's go. Because he just hates the rain. And like, we're both miserable if we have to walk in the rain. So last night, around, let's say 7 p.m. or so, we're walking. So it's not late, but it's dark. And we walk past this gym. And the gym is, if you're kind of just going, towards my coffee place, like you see it on the side, it looks like just like a big old, concrete jungle type thing. But last night I was like, oh, well, let's like do a little lap around the strip mall itself and just like see what's in here. There was a CVS, so it's kind of a good strip mall. But I walked past the gym and like all of the windows in the front are like kind of blacked out, but the front doors were open. And I looked inside, Heather, and it was like a party. Like the gym is like lights are low, black lights everywhere.
Wow.
Like double, like 2 stories. I mean, there must have been 1,000 people in there. And I was just like, I think I need to join this gym. I got to go in here. I got to see. Because the people watching is going to be unparalleled.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So you're going to do it?
I don't know. I think what I'll probably do is they've got a big sign on the side of the building that says call or text with the phone number, where I'm like, call or like, is it like one guy who like owns the whole place? There are a lot of people. It is a big gym. And like not a fancy gym, like a dirty gym, but that's the kind of gym I want. But and maybe maybe the lighting is different during the day, but last night I was like, wow, it's like a club. It looked like a club. So I'm going to ask them if I can get a day pass and sniff it out, and maybe that'll be my new gym. I don't know.
Do it. Yeah, it'd probably be a great place to like meet people too, or maybe not. I don't know. I haven't really joined a gym in a long time. I am very excited for you and all your strip mall exploration. Some of my favorite restaurants in LA, or they were, I mean, years ago when I lived there, were in strip malls, and you would never know it because on the outside, the strip mall was so run down and crappy looking. And then you walk in the door of this restaurant, it's like, oh my, this is beautiful.
Totally.
Like, and I love that about LA is that it's this unexpected. I think there was a documentary on strip malls of LA and like how some of the best restaurants are in these ugly strip malls.
Hidden gems. Totally.
Yeah, hidden gems. Totally.
And it's like if you need curb appeal, LA is sort of your place, but but often very much not your place.
Yeah.
And you just gotta just be like, this is how
It's
it
a
goes.
hodgepodge.
For example, and then I'll get off my strip mall pedestal here. For example, the other night, I'm in my house for the first time. I'm hungry. I'm just sort of like, just order something, and and when I feel that way, I usually go towards ramen. I'm like, I just want a bowl of noodle soup. Doesn't have to be ramen specifically, but I'm partial to ramen. So I, open up Uber Eats. What's the closest ramen place? Closest ramen place is called Slurpin' Ramen. Slurpin' with like an apostrophe,
so LA.
no G.
Oh God.
So I was like, Slurpin' Ramen? Am I really doing this? But it is close, which means like I'll get the soup like within half an hour. So I order it, and I order like a side of like a sort of a chicken rice thing, and it's so good.
Nice.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, okay, this is my ramen.
Did you order
this is
it
my
and
ramen
pick it up,
place.
or did you Uber Eats it?
Yeah, because it was late, and I was just sort of like I had been opening boxes all day and just covered in my
You
own
are
fill.
so gonna be rocking the Uber Eats now that you're back there.
Well, I mean, listen, I've got a little bit of a ramen issue. I didn't eat a lot of ramen. There was actually a really good ramen place to go to when I was up in Sonoma County, but ordering for delivery in the treehouse was like, yeah, you could do it, but options very limited. It wasn't fun. In a city like this, I'm like, Slurpin' Ramen, yes, please. Will do. We'll order again. It was so good, Heather.
Speaking of slurping, I'm going to be slurping. I keep mentioning eggnog. I'm just like, what is wrong with me? I never used to like eggnog, but it's just like 'tis the season. And there's all these alternative eggnogs, soy, almond, oat,
I call
rice,
them the
coconut, you
alt
take your pick.
nogs.
The alt nogs,
Yeah.
exactly. We kind of cray. But I wanted to mention before we wrap up today, the fact that to sort of to reiterate the geographic wonder where I live, or where I'm like 2 weeks from everywhere and everything. I have this club membership, partially because I live in the boonies, and it's kind of a fancy club, but they have their flaws. I mean, it's not totally my style. It's a bit old fashioned. But I went to a business lunch last week, and it was really nice. It was like, white tablecloth and blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, the like manager who he's there all the time. He's the guy that like greets you and everything. Nice guy. He was like, "Do you guys want an eggnog?" It was like after lunch. And I'm like, yeah, all right. It's like boozy eggnog. And so I had one, and it was lovely. I like really enjoyed it. I was like, oh man, this is and it kind of leaves you're warmer, and it's like the nutmeg and the cinnamon, and it just was yummy.
Oh yeah.
And so
it's delish.
Last night I tried to sign up so I am going to go to their, on Saturday night, the 23rd, they're doing kind of a Christmassy dinner thing where you can sign up, and it's nice. It's festive. You dress up. So I was texting the guy, and I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to have one of those boozy eggnogs." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, sorry. The chef tried to buy eggnog, but all the vendors are sold out." And I'm like, it drives me crazy. I feel like this club does this all the time. It's like there's always something that they don't have because of some dumb excuse. It's like, dude, you're surrounded by grocery stores and a Costco. Is it really that? Like, I just bought eggnog. There's tons of it. Like, I know that they probably do some, Cisco, big order or whatever. But I was like, man. Anyway, so eggnog is sort of on the brain. So I just wanted to mention really quick. I wanted to sort of know the origin of eggnog, and where the name came from and that kind of thing. So apparently, it kind of originated in like medieval Britain. Supposedly, no one really knows. But it was, kind of an exclusive beverage, I think, back in the day, because it was hard to have sherry and milk and eggs, like, all the time. But so rum, a lot of eggnog is mixed with sherry. Because I was like, do I mix it with whiskey? Because I'm going to make some this weekend. I just got some that I only have, I think, whiskey and tequila at home. And I'm like, well, can I use whiskey? Apparently it's more like a sherry rum kind of thing. I mean, you can use whiskey, but it kind of takes over the flavor. So
See,
I
I've
guess
only known eggnog with whiskey.
See, that's what I thought. But when I was doing my research,
I guess it just depends
on the internet,
on the household.
yeah, and so it was. So it's interesting. So I guess rum was referred to as grog, and like bartenders served it in those wooden mugs that are called noggins. So like the drink first became known as like an egg and grog, and then it became eggnog. And then there's all these little things about it being called an egg flip, because I guess it's a rapid pouring mixture sort of thing where between two pitchers. So it was I don't know, maybe in like the mid to late 1700s it became kind of Americanized or whatever. But that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna make like a homemade eggnog because I don't know. I just think it's just like you don't drink eggnog any other time of the year. It's kind of weird. So that's what I'll be doing if you guys are ever wondering over the weekend. I'll be sitting on the couch drinking my grog, my nog.
So last year, I bought some eggnog at the grocery store, as one does, and I was putting it in my morning coffee. And just was like, everyone's doing like the crazy gingerbread lattes, and I'm really just kind of a straight up coffee person. I like a fancy coffee drink here and there, but day to day, I just give me a large coffee, good to go.
Yeah.
But during the holidays, instead of cream or, one of my alt cream, brands, a little eggnog in the coffee just feels festive.
Totally.
To the point where I had somebody over at my house. They opened my fridge and they were like, "How do you have like eggnog at home?" And I was like, I don't understand the question. Like, what do you mean? And he was like, "I don't know. I just thought it was like something you get at a bar during the holidays." And I was like, no.
Have you been to a grocery store lately?
You just buy it
like
and you put it in your fridge, and then you have as much eggnog as you want. I actually don't really like spiked eggnog, just because I don't really like whiskey. But again, I always thought of it as a whiskey thing. So Heather, you're expanding my mind.
Sherry rum. Good. I'm so glad. There's a lot of these like seasonal products. They have all these like yummy bags of like fancier York peppermint patties, that are shaped like Christmas trees and, stuff like that, like at least at my co-op, at my health food store. And they're all sold out. And then you like try to find them online and like you have to wait a whole year to have them again. It's kind of a drag. My advice here is do not get attached to seasonal products because
that's right.
You may be searching the bottom of the barrel on Amazon and spend way too much for said product.
Well, whether or not you have spent a lot this holiday season or not, we do appreciate all y'all. See what I did there, Heather? Just a little pivot. But just a reminder, we love our patrons. The patrons help us keep the lights on, quite literally. If you would like to at least consider directly supporting the show, please do go to patreon.com/havesuchagoodday. All the patrons who are already with us, thank you so much. And
'tis the season.
'Tis the season, yeah. Perhaps this is the time for you. Anybody who's listening, trying to figure out if Heather and I are like psychotic or not, we're glad to have you. We're glad to know you. It's all good. Even if you hate listening.
Spread the good word
if you hate listening.
Of Have Such a Good Day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really think anybody's hate listening. But yeah, you do you. No judgment from us. We're just glad to have you on board. And
all peace and love.
Yeah.
All peace and love.
Peace and love. And, we hope for more emails. I don't know if everybody's just like a shy emailer or what. We don't get a ton of emails, and we'd love to have more. If anything ever resonates with you, we do have our Discord, where I think a lot of kind of the regulars, we all sort of chat about life. But yeah, if you ever have something on your mind, something we said sparks a story of your own, hi@havesuchagoodday.com is where to send that email. And again, if you're a patron at the $5 per month level, or more, you can join our Discord. Not mandatory, but always appreciate it.
Well put, Sarah.
Thank you.
Well, on that note, y'all have a wonderful Christmas, and we'll see you on the other side. We'll see you on the flip side, on the old flip. But in the meantime, I will be Heather forever.
And I will be Sarah. Happy holidays to all. We love you.
Have such a good day.